welcome in week 11. I cannot believe this. A week away from Thanksgiving, AC. We know how we get down with Thanksgiving
Flying
DFS
by.
around here. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be fun. But week 11 edition of the Cash Process. I'm your host, Ben Husser. I'm joined by Anthony Carson. We're here to give our first look at the week 11 main slate. It's King of the Beach week, AC. So I'm gonna
Let's
be,
go.
yeah,
Let's go.
I'm gonna be as I've been talking to Matt earlier today. Like I'm as locked in as I think I'll ever be. So if you guys are in the Discord, if you're subscribed to the core plays, my tournament core, this is gonna be as dialed in as I've ever been. For this
I
tournament this
can't
week.
wait. I can't wait to see your lineup
Yeah,
towards Sunday morning.
I'm so
So,
excited, man. I'm just excited. But as all, we're
so
gonna
you got
get
to
into
come in the
things.
top,
Yeah.
top
So
75, and then you,
yeah, it's 250 people. Top 75 move on. So we'll see.
and
I
then
feel
it's a live
confident.
final.
Yeah, correct. Live final in San Diego. I think
Let's go.
what 1 million or
That's
1.5
awesome.
million prize pool, something crazy. But
Jeez.
I'm excited. We're here. We're gonna give the first look. As always, shout out our sponsors, OwnersBox Fantasy. Head over to OwnersBox.online. You can see on the sidebar there. Use promo code Karma. $500 deposit match. Free DFS entry. You can get a free Lightning lineups entry. Travis continues to crush Lightning lineups as well as people under the Discord. It's been dropping cheat sheets for that, which you can get in the Discord. But really fun. Our lineup we built on the stream. It was that was a
It was
disastrous.
bad.
It was a
It was
disastrous
bad.
lineup, but we'll be back this weekend. We'll be building another lineup on the stream, and if you use the promo code to get the free entry, you can enter that lineup. But AC, I got to 9-1 on DraftKings cash games, so subscribers were very happy. I didn't have a great tournament week, but the main lineup hit. That's all that matters. How was your weekend in week 10?
Yeah, my week was not so great, not so hot on FanDuel. I was complaining in Discord because I lost because of defense. I fared very well in head heads, and actually, you do a good job, Ben, not only on this podcast, but talking in Discord. The last several years, I've gotten more exposure with my cash games and heads up. And listen, it wasn't a great weekend, but I did make a decent amount back, I guess you could say, in FanDuel. I had a great lineup. I just came just short in the 50-50s. And then DraftKings, I had a chalk lineup. I just decided to play Travis Etienne. I had a high conviction on him. He did not pan out. Everybody else went Amon St. Brown, which I've played him every week, and I knew he was a great play. I just like the lineup in specific that I rolled out, and it didn't work out. I did try to last second make a switch to Max Hollins to Christian Watson, and then I was going to flex Pollard, who was chalk, to CeeDee Lamb, which would have been bunkers and probably been top 10, top 5 in all tournaments. And of course, I got too scared and did not make that pivot. But it goes to show you, if you feel like you're behind in cash games and DraftKings, there is merit to like just taking the balls and making the switch. If you're going to lose, you're going to lose. Ultimately, I decided to stick with my lineup like a sucker, and it didn't pan out for me. So here we are, Ben. It's just insane how fast they're going. Every year, I feel like we've been saying this, but I'm excited. Let's keep rolling. We got a long season left, highly successful season right now. It's early in the week. I have all my betkarma.com odds comparison tools, my odds, my live trends. The props are not filtering yet because it's now Tuesday, but those will start filtering in here tonight and tomorrow for Thursday night's game. Interesting slate, Ben. I think it's a more fun slate. Some of these weeks we come on here and we're playing the woe is me card, saying that this slate sucks, whatever, this slate's boring. I think there's so many ways to go. Just quickly looking, early, is that where your thoughts are, just game environment wise? I don't know if we're going to all land on the same chalk and DraftKings, but there does look to be a lot of fun fantasy environment this week on different games.
Yeah, cash games are always at this point with. Everyone
Yeah.
has access to quality projections today and age. So cash games are always going to be what they are. It's going to be tight. You're going to have to really make sound decisions. But overall, I think the extra game, 11 games compared to 10, helps things out. We already have we have our first weird weather thing, right? Expected to be potentially up to 31 inches of snow in Buffalo for this Buffalo Browns game. So first weather slate to kind of navigate. That's the only game I think that has like any weather concerns, but that'll be something to pay attention to later on in the week. But Yeah, I do think this slate in general looks a little bit better than the last couple that we've been on here talking about. Yeah.
All right. So the question is starting at quarterback. I mean, Justin Fields, yet again, I didn't know about his hometown narrative. I'll let you talk about that. I didn't know that. I just feel like you have to play him in cash. Like, I don't even care the price right now. Is that where your thoughts are at quarterback starting in cash games this week, yet again?
Yeah, so the last few weeks we haven't had these bigger names on the slate. We did have Josh Allen last week, but it wasn't even certain he was going to play until 15 minutes or so before that game. So we've just been windmilling Fields in, but yeah, I don't know how we don't play him. I mean, he's been the best player in fantasy the last few weeks. Back to back 40-point games. It's another good matchup. I mean, Atlanta not good defensively. Uh, yeah. So Matt brought up his hometown thing, which I kind of forgot about, but he went to Georgia and then transferred to Ohio State. He is from Atlanta, so have some family and friends in the stands. He's only 7,600. That is an appropriate price, but also I wouldn't argue if he was 82, 8,300. So I do think you're probably just playing Fields again. But any of those top four, Josh Allen, weather aside, Lamar, Hurts, like you can make a case for any of those guys, but it's pretty clear you'll be spending up at quarterback this week for sure.
Yeah, and word to the wise, we've done a pretty good job of sprinkling in game theory and three max entry stuff. Listen, I feel like for the second week in a row, knowing that he's going to be chalk, it's for me, it's a complete fade in tournaments. I don't know if you agree to disagree with that. And it did not work out for the second week in a row. And guess what? For the third week in a row, I'm going to complete fade him in tournaments, Ben. I'm getting zero exposure. I don't care. Listen, if he throws up 45 more points again, so I mean, what am I going to do? I can't play him in tournaments. That's just not in my DNA.
Yeah, I'll probably still have some in tournaments. I mean, it's a tough situation because you can make the argument to where he's gone off so many weeks in a row, like eventually he's going to have a bad game. And I did tell you that I think that there's more holes to poke in this game than the last few, just because Atlanta will run the ball so much that they can slow the like. Chicago's run defense is terrible. So if Atlanta comes in there and they have a couple of these 12, 13 sustained play drives and like slow the game down, that is possible. But Fields at the same time with how he runs can speed games up like on his own without doing anything else. So it's a tough situation. He's definitely gonna be the highest owned quarterback again, but I mean, he's such a good play. It's tough. I don't know. Early lean, I'll definitely have some tournament exposure, but
I
God,
mean, again, I'm just trying to get in your brain a little bit. You got the king of the beach this week. I mean, think about it. There are some studs. Jalen Hurts, dome game, short week. People are going to be off Jalen Hurts this week. I
yeah,
guarantee it,
dude.
Ben.
People. So he throws that pick to AJ Brown that's in AJ Brown's hands, absolute dime, and somehow that guy takes it away from him. So he's getting flack for this. He also throws a bomb to Quez Watkins, and then Quez Watkins fumbles. So I can't wait to hear the narrative like, oh, Jalen Hurts can't lead a comeback or whatever when
Right.
like he didn't even do anything wrong.
Again, tournament perspective, stud. I want Hurts this week. Let's pretend that there's no blizzard. I mean, again, because it's lake effect snow. We know this living in Cleveland. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. So Josh Allen is probably potentially, arguably, in the best spot in the entire slate if there's no winter weather. The Browns team has essentially quit on defense. Their season's over. Whatever. It's been a lost season, but their defense is atrocious. I mean, Allen at home, again, this is if there's no blizzard. And then guess what? You know who's going to get lost in the sauce against a Carolina team that has no secondary and they just suck, period, going against Baker is Lamar Jackson at home. I always like, obviously, the home. It's not the home narrative. I mean, it's just follow the math long term, right? So all these guys are at home. Hurts is away, but he's in a dome game. So there's a lot of great spots this week for tournaments. But Fields and cash.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, you laid it out. It's just all these spend up guys look good. I don't really see any. Okay, so the last couple slates, there's just been Fields, right? And he's been mispriced, but
Yeah.
there's legitimate guys that you're risking fading this week, like if you drop down. So I think it like I don't see myself spending down at QB at all this week, to be honest.
Dak's lingering down there too. I mean, again, in a normal year
Yeah,
where there
I mean
aren't slate
Burrow at
breakers at
68.
quarterback,
You could spend you can always play Burrow because he can throw, 4 touchdowns and 350 yards. But it'd be really tough to get me off these top quarterbacks this
Yeah.
week, even with the lack of value, I think. But all right, we can
All
move
right, let's
on.
go to running back.
Yeah, running back. I mean, Barkley at the top for sure looks like the best play. I don't know if we'll be able to get him into like a cash lineup. Obviously, we haven't built any lineups yet, but I mean, he had 35 rush attempts last week, which is just insane when you talk about that. I mean, I told you prior to this podcast, like if you told me Barkley had 35 rush attempts before the game, I would have thought that he just completely decimated the slate. So at home against a bad Detroit run defense, really, really good spot for Barkley. If you're spending up, I think you go with him. I do like the spot for Jonathan Taylor at 7,800. We were talking about it a little bit. Jordan Davis being out for Philly has really hurt their run defense. Washington just pounded the ball against them last night. I mean, they were gashing them.
Mhm.
Taylor, pretty much the best usage of his career in Jeff Saturday's first game. They were giving him the ball a lot. He was on the field a ton. Obviously, no Hines. He ran more routes, which is good. So even if they're trailing, I think that helps out JT. And the biggest factor for JT is having Matt Ryan back at quarterback over Sam Ellinger, I think. So I do like JT at 78. Kamara will grade out well at 76. I don't know. I mean, outside of that, Pierce, I don't know. Washington's a tougher matchup, but he gets his touches every week. So I guess you could sell me on him. Tony Pollard, if Zeke's out, would be a lock, and then David Montgomery will be, the chalky play with Khalil Herbert out. You don't need to worry about that. He's only 6,100. Same game. People will play Fields and Montgomery together, I think, for sure.
I got nothing really to add, to be quite honest. I feel like you hit all the
I told you
guys,
I'm
for the most.
dialed, dude. I'm dialed in. I'm ready to
Yeah,
go.
you are absolutely dialed in. Again, I guess off the chalk. This has nothing to do with cash games, but I'm just trying to take a quick glance, Ben. Again, maybe King of the Beach opportunities. Like Dalvin Cook's looking like mighty, mighty good recently. I know he's
Yep.
kind of had a down year. I know people are writing him off. I know there's analysts out there talking him down. They won't pay $8,000 for him, but I feel like you can run on Dallas, right? And I love the home dome game narrative. I mean, I think he's in play. I think it's funny that Joe Mixon just had like 9 touchdowns in the game, and I have a sneaky feeling he's going to be less than 7% owned. Just looking at the slate right now with all these guys, 7,400. I mean, he's in play, right? For a tournament perspective. I'm trying to think again. Let's just take out the Browns Bills game for now. We got to figure out weather later in the week. But the one guy or the two guys you did not mention that I'm guessing are probably going to get talked up some point this week throughout the industry is probably Brian Robinson / Gibson against Houston, who we all know we can attack, right? So I think those guys are in play either or. I prefer Gibson, obviously with the pass catching ability, but I think they're both in play at their price points.
Yeah, definitely. But Robinson, it's gonna like he doesn't offer you anything in the passing game,
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said last night, they are fine running the ball, and they ran the ball all over Philly, and I do think that they'll do that. Obviously, everyone knows that Houston's run defense is not good. I mean, he got 26 rush attempts last night, which is that's a lot for 5,300.
Yeah.
So I do agree he's in play. Singletary, maybe, like you said, we don't know about the game. I think would be interesting. And then the last guy I'll mention, Kenyon Drake at 59. Baltimore's coming off their bye, so we'll have to wait and see about some of these other guys, injury wise. But Kenyon Drake, I mean, he's coming off that game, 2 touchdowns against New Orleans. If he's the lead back as a just massive home favorite, right? I mean, double digit favorite at home. Kenyon Drake for 5,900
Yeah.
definitely is interesting for sure.
No Drake for me. I can never get the Baltimore running backs right. All right, let's go over to wide receiver. You're dialed in. Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah. I mean, spend ups, Jefferson, dude. Can we just talk like insane performance from Justin Jefferson in that Bills game? I mean,
I
that was
mean, I
just
don't want to be that guy, but
it was insane.
if he stays healthy, he potentially is going to go down as Jerry Rice type. I mean, he's as long as he stays healthy, dude. This guy is insane.
Insane game. So I think again, we don't know about whether or not we can fit him in roster construction, all that stuff, but he definitely is the top option. I think Cooper Cup out, obviously that bumps up some of the other Rams guys, but I don't know. What do you make of that situation? Before we dive into some of these other expensive guys, what do you make of the Rams situation with Cup out? I mean, New Orleans is a secondary that we've kind of been picking on a little bit.
I mean, besides Van Jefferson, I mean, what's the
Yeah, they
price
have Allen
of?
Robinson. He's in the mid fives, I think. 5,600. Van Jeff, I
I
feel
do.
like he's 4,500. If he was like, see, dude, this is how tight pricing is, dude. I feel like last year Van Jefferson would
Yeah.
would be like 3,500 this week.
What about Stronach? He's
Yeah,
39.
dude. I'm
He's in
just,
play.
I
He's in
can't,
play,
I can't
right?
do it, dude. I don't think I can do it, but I don't know.
I
All
mean,
right,
if you need salary,
yeah, but maybe Rams guys. We'll talk about that later in the week. Devontae, super tough matchup. I prefer Jefferson to him. Diggs obviously has the weather. Like we'll wait and see on that. So I don't know. I think you look at Jefferson and then you can skip down. I mean, St. Brown 7,200. He's going to project very well again. He does every week until he's priced upper sevens. I think he's going to grade out as one of the best values on the slate. And then you have T Higgins at 71 against Pittsburgh with no Jamar Chase. TJ Watt being back does help Pittsburgh's D a lot, but their secondary I'm not really scared of. So both T Higgins and Tyler Boyd, I think you can make the case for. And then I brought it up to you, but Terry McLaurin, if Taylor Heineke starts, Terry McLaurin, 30% target share with Heineke, averaging over 90 yards, receiving yards a game with Taylor Heineke, like 5,900 against Houston. If Heineke's starting again, it's just terrible. Like he's gonna be massive chalk.
seems like there's so many options this week. Like it's only 11
Yeah,
game slate. That's why I said it feels like this is going to be a fun fantasy week because
yeah.
there's definitely a lot of ways you can go.
Yeah, I
Right?
mean, I didn't even mention, like, obviously Robinson's there, but DJ Moore, George Pickens is still 5,200. Like, there's legitimate guys you can make the case for in that 5K range. So
I can't. I
even
can't. Even
Sutton, I
though I
mean,
played
Dude,
Pickens.
Russ is dust, but Judy's out, so you have
Yeah.
Sutton and like the supplementary Broncos guys. I mean, there is a lot of ways to go here for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that's kind of the guy I was going to land on was Sutton. Um, Paris Campbell's looking great, man. I know he's going against the Eagles, but 4,300. I'm just trying to look at some salary relief
No, and
stuff.
yeah, and you can
Depends.
target Philly in the slot, right? Like you kind of want to avoid the outside guys. And target them over the middle of the field. So 4,300 certainly. And Paris Campbell, like it's not just one good game. Like he's been coming on the last like 5-6 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could definitely see him being in play for sure.
I know he's not going to become a popular play, but this is more of a tournament play. Wandale Robinson, one of these weeks, is going to go off. 4,600. He's probably not in play for cash because he hasn't really shown us that he can be, but he gets Detroit this week. And we know if there's one secondary that you can absolutely abuse, it's Detroit. So he's some guy I have circled to try and get in one of my tournament rosters this week. I mean, heck, it's not really a bad cash play, Ben. He hasn't done it yet. And,
Yeah.
like you said, draft done a good job of pricing this year. So
I do think I would lean like Campbell over him, but I
yeah.
will say, I mean, dude, it's funny. Like it's weird because the Giants run the ball so much, but I mean, look at the team totals, right? New York's just under a 25-point team total. That's higher than the Bears. That's pretty much the same as Buffalo in this weather game. That's pretty much the
Hmm.
same as Philly. Like higher than Dallas, higher than Minnesota, higher than the Bengals. Like that's no joke for the Giants having a almost 25-point team
Yeah.
total. So for sure they're going to score some points.
Yeah, I got again, not as much to add. You're kind of on point. Again, the tournament perspective up top, it depends if this is going to be a pay up for running back slate. In my opinion, my favorite route to go, and I know it's going to be popular, is just starting a lineup with Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb and build from there. That's kind of something I'm definitely looking at. Again, it's going to be owned. I'm not saying it's not. It's just that's a route I want to go in like my 3 max entry if I don't end up doing that in cash, which I probably won't. So
Yeah, I didn't go back and check what it would have done, but I actually moved off. I had a Dak team, like Dak, CD Lamb, but I swapped off it before lock last week. I didn't go back and look what it would have done, but I know CD Lamb was super low owned. And I mean, you were talking Christian Watson up on our stream. You guys,
I know,
YouTube
I
11
know,
a.m. on Sunday. AC was talking
for
about
like
Christian
5 minutes.
Watson. Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
yeah, and then I didn't play any of them. I'm an idiot. But all right, tight end. So look, Mark Andrews. We'll see if he plays or not. If he doesn't, I think Isaiah Likely is like the stone lock. I don't know, man. I would have to play quite a few lineups to not play Isaiah Likely if Andrews is out, I think, at 3,600. So,
Yeah, I feel like that's you've done a good job this year with your lineup construction on certain guys going all in on,
Yeah,
and
like
just not
that's
overthinking
like
it.
free square territory. I mean, 28-point team total. He scored. I mean, he's basically like the guy when Andrews is
Mhm.
out. So we'll wait and see on that. Goddard's out, so I don't know if people want to do the backup Philly thing. I mean, they have like Jack Stoll, who's probably like min price if I had to guess because he has like 2 catches on the year. So I don't know. We'll wait and see what our projections portal says on the Philly guys. Waller's out. You know, a lot of these top guys are out. Like I'm never gonna pay 5,300 for Hawkinson in cash games tournaments. I think he's a fine play, but I guess cash you're looking at like Cole Kmet to go with Fields. You still have Foster Moreau and Dulcich in the 3K range, likely like I just talked about. Um, yeah, I mean
I was
that's
actually going
about
to
it.
tell you that I want you to play TJ Hawkinson in your KOTB lineup.
Yeah, he's a good play, man. They've
I,
really made a point to get him the ball. Um, he had
he'll be owned, but
yeah,
you know,
really good usage in his first game, and then actually saw one more target last week. So I do think he's a pretty good play.
just looking at the slate, like you said, with Cole Kmet, again, I don't see how he's not chalk only because everyone's going to play Fields. Why didn't we do that in DFS last week? It's kind of weird how
Yeah,
we're so
I
on.
didn't have enough fields in tournaments last week. I'm just stupid. But
No, I'm talking about why didn't we play Cole Kmet in
oh,
retrospect with
yeah,
Fields?
I
Like
have no idea.
we're so dumb. We
I
talked
know.
about it on the cash process
I know.
for the record last week to do that.
I know.
Um, but everyone's going to do that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
the
I'd
other guy
pick
I'll bring
TJ.
up if Jelani Woods is out for Indy, Kylan Granson is like athletic. So the problem with Indy is like they play too many tight ends. But with Woods out last week, Granson caught all 4 targets for 57 yards. He's 2,900. Philly, one of the worst teams against tight ends. So maybe that's like a punt you could look at.
Ben, I got something to add about that. At this point in my DFS career, I've aged so long that I'm done finding the
You
Brock
know what?
Wrights. I don't even care. Even when the Brock Wrights of the world and this guy, I don't even know his name. I forgot you just said it.
Kylan
I don't even want
Granson.
to.
What about
I don't even want to read.
Tanner Hudson? So preseason legend. He's caught 3 passes back-to-back weeks for 8 and 5 DK points. Obviously, he's against Detroit. Terrible defense. Huge team total. He's 2,900. I don't know. I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
I'm too old. It's aged me too many years playing these guys, and it never works out. Ironically, I saw Brock Wright on Red Zone scoring a touchdown. I'm like, this
He
guy.
did score a touchdown last week. Yes.
I'm like, this guy, I don't even want to hear his name again. But no, in all seriousness, I want nothing to do with those guys. I've gotten to the point in my DFS career, like, give me Juwan Johnson at 3,100. Like, I know he's sick. By the way, like, if that guy's ever in the right spot and the right team that doesn't have a quarterback at tight end, I feel like he's amazing. Like, get this guy the ball, right? Like, you could play Juwan Johnson any given week of any
Yeah,
slate. It doesn't even matter the matchup.
he's basically a receiver.
He's just a stud. So there's guys like that I've just over time.
Dawson Knox 3,200.
I didn't see. Wow, 32. That's insane.
That's
Yeah,
a
I mean,
great
again, if there's not,
price.
it's an amazing price, especially in the Snow Bowl. I mean,
Mhm.
whew,
Yeah.
a lot of short passes.
Yeah, I
So,
like
all
Dawson Knox at
right,
32.
we finish in a defense. You got to give one of your KO. You cannot play a chalk D in your freaking
Yeah,
KOTB.
defense is just the worst, man. I think Pittsburgh is going to be chalky at home. So they played Cincy in week 1, right? They had all those turnovers, and then now they have TJ Watt back. Obviously, terrible offensive line. They're 2,300. I think Pittsburgh will probably be
Oh
the
God,
chalk. I think they'll be the chalk D this
they're
week.
2,300. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's chalk.
Pittsburgh chalk D. Other ones I like. I mean, Browns, Bills. In this snow game, like you consider those. Browns are 2,300. Um, Jets 2,800. New England just hasn't been good, and Mac Jones hasn't been good. So I'm a
And the
believer
Jets
in
are good.
yeah, I'm a believer in the Jets D. So 2,800 and any sub 3K D you could sell me on. I don't hate the spend up to be contrarian either. I mean 4K is a little crazy. Like when we're talking about Ravens at 4K, that's a little too much. But I got to the King of the Beach with spend up, playing Patriots defense against
Yeah,
the Colts. So I don't hate spend up. If you're playing like Saquon, maybe get Giants D like correlate or something like that. I don't mind that.
I like it. All right, you finish this week, Ben. I mean, any other advice? I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
come
gonna
on,
it's
this
gonna
is
be a
your
good
week, bro.
week. I put the anime avatar in Discord. I'm locked in
Nice.
for the rest of the week. That's how it's gonna be. Get in the Discord for free. dfskarma.com/chat. You can talk to us for free in there. You don't have to pay anything to see the free channels. And then if you want to sign up, obviously we have NBA every single day. A lot of people have been upgrading to MVP in our Discord, but you can still sign up if you just want to play football. There's still plenty of football left. I mean, we have still 8 weeks left plus playoffs. Showdown. We've been crushing Showdown. We do cores for all that Showdown main slates. Thanksgiving is a great time to sign up because you get the Thanksgiving cores and the main slate cores in the same week, which is next week. So dfskarma.com/NFL, you get my cores, Anthony's, Matt had a big week, Sam, everybody. Yeah, it's just been a great season, and anyone that signed up has made money to pay their sub off and then some. Because I mean, I
Yes, sir.
literally have lost one time. So
All right, boys. Good luck this week, and we'll talk to you next week.